The day Vera agreed to carry her sister's child, she thought she was giving life. She didn't know she had just signed her own death sentence. In a quiet estate in Lekki, where you could hear children laughing from one compound to another and neighbours chatting in the evenings, Olivia's house felt different. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't feel peaceful, just heavy. She had been married for 6 years. 6 long years of hoping, praying, and waiting for something that never came. At first, it wasn't a big deal. People would say, "Relax, it will happen." And she believed them. She told herself there was no need to rush. But as time went on, those same words started to sound different. Less comforting. More like pressure. Every month followed the same pattern. She would get her hopes up, start imagining what life would be like, maybe even say a few extra prayers. And then, just like that, everything would come crashing down again. It became a cycle she couldn't escape. "Am I cursed?" she whispered to herself, her voice trembling like cracked glass. Her husband, Shinadu, really tried. He wasn't the type to shout or complain. He didn't blame her, didn't make her feel less than. If anything, he was calm. Maybe too calm. And somehow that made it worse. Because there were no arguments, no fights, nothing to point at. Just silence. The kind of silence that fills a room even when 2 people are sitting right next to each other. At night, when everything was quiet and there were no distractions, Olivia would lie awake thinking about it. The empty space in their home. The questions people didn't ask directly but made sure she understood. The way time kept moving, whether she was ready or not. And in those moments, that silence felt louder than anything else. Because deep down, she was starting to wonder if this was how her life would always be. Vera was younger, softer, kinder. The kind of girl who would give you her last plate of food and still ask if you needed water. When she visited her sister one Sunday afternoon, she saw something she had never seen before. Defeat. "Maybe God just doesn't want me to be a mother," Olivia whispered. "Vera," Olivia's voice cracked instantly. "I can't do this anymore." Vera paused. She already knew what that meant. She had heard it too many times. "I went to the hospital again," Olivia continued. "They said the same thing. Nothing is wrong with me. Nothing is wrong with Chinadu. But nothing is happening." There was a long pause. Then Olivia said the words that changed everything. "I think God closed my womb." Vera dropped her wineglass. "Don't say that," she said quickly. "Don't ever say that." But Olivia was crying now. "I've watched my husband smile at other people's children like they are his. I've watched my mother-in-law look at me like I'm incomplete." Then came the silence again. And in that silence, Vera made a decision. "I will carry your child." Olivia froze. What did you say?" "I will be your surrogate," Vera repeated softly. "Let me carry your baby for you." For a moment, Olivia thought it was a joke. Then she realized Vera was serious. "You don't have to do that," Olivia said quickly. "It's too big, too risky." But Vera smiled faintly. "You are my sister. If I can give you happiness with my body, then let me." Olivia shook her head immediately. "No, no, you can't just say that. It's not that simple." "I know it's not simple," Vera said. "But it's possible." Olivia stood up, started pacing. her emotions tangled between hope and fear. "Do you even understand what you're saying?" she asked. "It's your body, your life, your future. What if something goes wrong?" Vera stood too, moved closer. "You are my sister," she said quietly. "If I can help you become a mother, then nothing else matters." Olivia's lips trembled. "And money?" she asked hesitantly. "We'll pay you, whatever it takes." Vera cut her off instantly. "No." The word was firm, unshakable. "I don't want your money," she said. "I want your happiness." Silence fell between them, heavy, sacred. Then Olivia did something she hadn't done in a long time. She laughed through her tears. That night, Olivia cried differently. Not tears of sadness, but tears of hope she had buried for years. At first, it didn't look like anything dangerous. It looked like gratitude. The news came on a bright Tuesday morning. The implantation was successful. The doctor said it calmly, like he was announcing the weather. But to Olivia, it was everything. She laughed, then cried, then laughed again. Her knees gave way right there in the hospital corridor, and Chinadu caught her before she hit the floor. "We're going to be parents," she whispered. Her voice shook like a dream she was afraid to wake from. Vera stood beside them, quiet, smiling, holding everything together. Chinedu turned to her suddenly and pulled her into a tight embrace. "Thank you," he said. His voice was thick with emotion. "You've given us a life." Vera laughed softly, trying to brush it off. "It's nothing," she said. But it wasn't nothing. And from that moment, it had stopped being small. At home, everything changed. Chindu became attentive in ways Olivia had never seen before, not just to her, but to Vera. "Did you take your supplements? Are you feeling okay? Don't stress yourself, please." At first, Olivia found it sweet, even comforting. After all, Vera was carrying her child. It made sense, it was right. Until it didn't feel right anymore. One evening, Chinadu came home earlier than usual. He held a bag of fruits neatly packed, apples, oranges, pineapples. "Where did you go?" Olivia asked. "Market," he replied casually. He walked past her, straight into the guest room. "Vera," he called gently, "I got these for you." Olivia stood in the hallway, still invisible. From inside the room, Vera's voice floated out. "You didn't have to do that." "I wanted to," Chinadu replied. There was a pause, then laughter. Light, easy, comfortable. Olivia's fingers curled slowly at her sides. That night she lay beside her husband in silence. The ceiling fans spun lazily above them. "Did Vera eat well today?" Chinadu asked. Olivia blinked. "What?" "I just want to make sure she's okay," he said. "The baby depends on her." "The baby, not our baby, not your baby. Just the baby." "She's fine," Olivia said shortly. Chinadu didn't notice the shift. Or maybe he did, and chose not to see it. Days turned into weeks. Vera's body began to change. Her stomach curved gently. Her face softened. She glowed. One afternoon, Vera laughed. It was harmless. A light, carefree laugh at something Chinadu said. But to Olivia, it sounded like betrayal. Her eyes lingered on the way Chinadu smiled back. Too warmly, too easily, too comfortably. That night, Olivia stood in front of the mirror. She touched her flat stomach. Then she whispered something she didn't even plan to say. "She's replacing me." The words hung in the air like a curse. And from that moment, love began to twist into jealousy. During the baby shower, the house was filled with laughter. Women danced, music played, food flowed. And in the center of it all, Vera sat like a queen, radiant, smiling, alive. Olivia stood at the corner of the room, watching, clapping, smiling, dying inside. Then came the moment that broke her. An elderly woman approached Vera, placed her hand on her head, and said, "You will be a wonderful mother." Olivia froze. The words echoed in her skull. "You will be a wonderful mother." Not her Vera. That night, Olivia didn't sleep. She sat on the bed, staring at nothing, until her thoughts began to whisper dangerous things. What if the child loves her more? What if Chinadu already does? What if she never leaves? What if she doesn't want to let go? From that night on, Olivia stopped seeing Vera as her sister and started seeing her as a threat. The day the baby came, the sky was clear. Too clear, as if heaven itself was watching. Vera screamed not from fear, but from pain that carried purpose. Hours passed. Sweat, tears, blood, and finally, a cry, sharp, powerful, alive. "It's a boy!" the nurse announced. Joy exploded in the room. Shinadu cried openly. Olivia laughed through tears. They had a child. Finally. But something strange happened. The baby stopped crying the moment Vera held him, as if he recognized her, as if her heartbeat was still home. Olivia noticed. And her smile faded slightly. Days later, visitors flooded the house, gifts, prayers, congratulations, but one thing became clear. The story everyone told was not Olivia's. It was Vera's. She sacrificed everything. She carried the child. She is an angel. Each praise tightened something dark inside Olivia's chest, until gratitude turned into resentment. And resentment began to crave silence. The evening arrived too gently for what it carried. There was no thunder, no warning, no sign that something irreversible had already made up its mind. The house was quiet. From the kitchen, the soft clinking of glass echoed faintly. Olivia stood alone. A pot of freshly brewed Sobo sat on the counter, its deep crimson colour catching the dim light like something alive. She stirred it slowly, round and round, as if buying time. Her eyes were not on the drink. They were far away, lost somewhere between memory and decision. In the living room, Vera sat with the baby nestled against her chest. She hummed softly, a lullaby their mother used to sing. The baby responded the only way he knew how, by trusting her completely. "Shh, my love," Vera whispered. Her voice carried warmth, a warmth she never knew would be her last. Back in the kitchen, Olivia stopped stirring. Her hand trembled just slightly. She opened a small drawer, reached inside and pulled out a tiny bottle. Clear, harmless looking, silent. For a moment, she stared at it. Her reflection stared back at her through the glass cabinet. Two versions of herself, one who loved her sister, one who had already crossed a line. Tears filled her eyes, but they didn't fall. "She's taking everything," she whispered. Her voice was barely sound. A flash of memory hit her. Vera laughing. Shinadu smiling. The baby calming instantly in Vera's arms. voices praising her, calling her strong, calling her selfless, calling her mother. Olivia's grip tightened. "No," she said quietly. "This is my life." Her hand moved slow, deliberate. The cap twisted open with a soft click, a sound too small for a decision too big. She poured it just a little into one glass. The liquid disappeared into the Zobo without a trace. No colour change, no smell, no warning. Olivia exhaled sharply, as if something inside her had just snapped. Then she smiled, a practiced smile, a sister's smile, a lie dressed as love. "Vera!" she called out. Her voice was light. Warm. Normal. Too normal. "In the kitchen, I made Zobo." Vera looked up, smiled, carefully placing the baby in the cradle. "I'm coming." Her footsteps were soft, unhurried, trusting. She walked into the kitchen and found Olivia standing there with 2 glasses. "You didn't have to stress yourself," Vera said, laughing lightly. "I should be the one taking care of you after everything." Olivia chuckled. "You've done enough," she replied. Her eyes didn't meet Vera's. She handed her the glass. For a brief second, their fingers touched and something passed between them. Not suspicion, not fear. Just history. Years of sisterhood. Memories of childhood. Moments of shared laughter. Vera smiled. Softly. Sincerely. "Thank you for everything," she said. The words landed like a knife wrapped in velvet. Olivia nodded. She couldn't speak. Vera raised the glass, took a sip. Nothing happened. She took another, a longer one. Olivia watched. Every swallow, every breath. Every second. Then Vera paused. Her brows furrowed slightly. "You added more ginger?" she asked, almost playfully. Olivia forced a laugh. "Maybe a little." Vera nodded, took another sip. And then it began. Her fingers twitched. Just slightly, the glass slipped, not fully, just enough to tilt. "Olivia," she said softly. Something was wrong. Her chest tightened, a sudden pressure, heavy, unforgiving. Her breathing changed. Short. Uneven. "Olivia." This time her voice cracked. The glass fell. Shattering against the tiled floor, the sound echoed, loud, sharp, final. Vera staggered back, her hand reaching for the counter. Missing. Her body trembled. "What is happening?" she whispered. Her vision blurred. The room began to spin. Olivia stood still, frozen, watching. Vera's knees hit the floor. Pain spread through her chest like fire. Her throat burned. Her heartbeat raced, then stumbled. She looked up at Olivia. Her eyes filled with confusion. Not anger, not fear, just disbelief. "Olivia," she struggled. "Help me." Her hand reached out, weak, shaking, trusting. Olivia didn't move. Tears finally rolled down her face, but her feet stayed planted. "Why?" Vera whispered. The question hung in the air, heavy, unanswered. Seconds stretched into eternity. Vera's body gave in, slowly, painfully. Her hand dropped, her breathing faded, and then nothing. The silence returned, but this time, it wasn't empty, it was full, full of something that could never be undone. Olivia stared at her sister's lifeless body, her chest rising and falling rapidly, her mind screaming, but outside the world went on. A baby cried in the next room, unaware. And inside the kitchen, a bond older than memory lay broken on the floor, forever. Vera's death was ruled out as food poisoning. A tragic accident, Unfortunate, painful, final. The burial was quiet. Tears were real, but the truth was buried deeper than the coffin. Only one person wasn't convinced. China Do. It started with the baby. He cried at night, endlessly, violently, uncontrollably. But the moment Olivia tried to carry him, he screamed louder. Days turned into weeks. The child refused her touch, refused her comfort, refused her presence. But one night, something happened. The baby stopped crying suddenly. Olivia rushed into the room, her heart pounding. And then she froze. The cradle was gently rocking on its own, and for a brief second, she saw it. A shadow, soft, familiar, standing beside the child. Vera! Olivia stumbled back, her breath caught in her throat. No, no, no. But the child smiled. From that day on, Olivia never slept again. The house felt different that evening, not quiet, not peaceful, but tense, like something invisible had taken a seat in the room and refused to leave. Chinedu stood in the center of the living room, still, rigid, waiting. On the table before him lay everything: the small bottle, the pharmacy receipt, printed call logs, pieces of truth, arranged like a judgment. Olivia paused at the doorway. Her breath caught instantly. She knew. Before a single word was spoken, she knew. Come inside, Chinedu said. His voice was calm, too calm. That scared her more than shouting ever could. She stepped in slowly, each footstep heavy, each second louder than the last. Her eyes flickered to the table, then away, then back again. Her hands began to tremble. "What is all this?" she asked. Her voice tried to sound normal. Failed. Chinedu didn't answer immediately. He just looked at her, long, deep searching. Then finally he spoke. Why? One word, but it carried everything. Olivia swallowed, her throat dry. I don't understand. Don't, Chinedu cut in sharply. His voice cracked for the first time. Don't lie to me, not today, not now. Silence fell. Heavy, unforgiving. He picked up the bottle, held it up. This was traced to you. He dropped the receipt on the table. You bought it. Another paper followed. You called the pharmacy. Each word struck like a hammer. Vera didn't just die, he said slowly. She was killed. His voice broke. And everything leads back to you. Olivia shook her head weakly, desperately. No, no, Chinedu, it's not. Why? The explosion came suddenly, violently. His voice filled the room, shaking the walls, shattering whatever illusion was left. Why would you do this? He roared. She trusted you. She loved you. His voice failed him. She gave us everything. Silence followed, but it wasn't empty. It was suffocating. Olivia's knees weakened. She staggered back slightly. Tears filled her eyes, spilled over, unstoppable. She tried to speak, but the words refused to come. Because there was no lie left, no excuse strong enough, no story big enough to hide behind. Only truth, ugly, raw, unforgiving. I didn't mean to, she whispered. Chinedu froze. What? He said slowly. Olivia shook her head violently. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I just wanted. What did you want? He snapped. Her voice broke completely. I wanted my life back, the words echoed. Wild, desperate, broken. I was disappearing, Shinadu, she cried. Can't you see that? Everywhere I turned, it was Vera. Vera this, Vera that. Her breathing became erratic. You looked at her differently. You cared about her more. Even the baby. She stopped, the realization hitting her mid-sentence. Chinadu's face hardened. Finish it, he said coldly. Olivia shook her head slowly. He wouldn't stop crying with me, she whispered. But with her, he was calm. Her voice dropped, barely audible. It felt like I was the outsider in my own life. Tears streamed down her face. I carried that pain every day, every single day, until I couldn't take it anymore. Her body shook. I didn't plan it like that, she cried. I just wanted it to stop. Shinadu stared at her, as if seeing a stranger. You wanted it to stop, he repeated quietly. Then his voice turned colder. Sharper, huh? So you stopped her life? The words landed harder than any slap. Olivia collapsed to her knees. I'm sorry, she screamed. I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I swear, I didn't. You did. His voice cut through hers instantly. You knew exactly what you were doing. Silence dead, final, Olivia sobbed uncontrollably, her hands clutching the floor, as if she could hold on to something, anything. That hadn't already slipped away, but it was too late for apologies, too late for explanations, too late for forgiveness. Chinadu stepped back, slowly, as if the distance between them was the only thing keeping him standing. I don't know you, he said. The words were quiet, but they shattered everything. The woman I married could never do this. Olivia looked up at him, her face broken. She's gone, she whispered. Chinadu nodded. Yes, he said. She is. Moments later, a knock echoed at the door. Firm, authoritative, inevitable. Olivia froze. Chinadu didn't move, didn't react, didn't speak. The knock came again, louder this time. And with it the final chapter of her freedom. Because some actions don't just destroy others, they destroy you too. And no matter how long it takes, truth always arrives right on time. The door opened, not gently, not kindly, but with authority. Two officers stepped in, their faces unreadable, their presence final. Olivia Okafor, one of them said. You are under arrest for the murder of Vera Okafor. The words echoed, not just in the room, but inside her. For a moment she didn't move and didn't speak and didn't breathe, as if her body had finally accepted what her mind had been running from. Then slowly, her hands lifted. Weak. Heavy. Cold metal closed around her wrists. And just like that, everything ended. She was charged to court and was found guilty of deliberate murder and was sentenced to life imprisonment. One moment, one decision, one act. And everything changed forever. Some mistakes cannot be undone, no matter how deep the regret. Guard your heart. Control your emotions. Because one wrong decision taken in a moment of darkness can destroy a lifetime of light.